on Sunset Hills, or the homes in South City, just like my house there. There's various types of architecture. But this kid here did not think she was going to be an architect. She grew up in Kansas and moved to Southeast Missouri when she was in 8th grade, and she wanted to be a lot of different things, but definitely not an architect. Even here as a senior, she wasn't 100% sure what she wanted to do. Some of the things I wanted to be was an aspiring artist. In grade school, we would have career days, and I would dress up as an artist. Some of my artwork up here from very young to a lot older. I have some patches from doing Girl Scouts when I was a kid, so I very much loved art. I pursued it my whole life. I still do upside down art. Next thing was astronomy. I loved astronomy and wanted to be an architect. I attended Space Camp. I attended the Kansas Cosmosphere. I attended the Girl Scouts Stargazing Camp. When we went to Disney, I got to see the picture with the Wookiee, which was great. I love Star Wars, but definitely was that. Another thing I wanted to be when I was younger was a writer or a journalist. I had tons of diaries from when I was a kid. I also created my own magazines when I was a kid, and I worked on the high school newspaper, and I was copy editor my senior year. So there was a lot of different things I wanted to be, but architect was not on that list ever until 8th grade. I moved to Missouri and did an aptitude career test to help you pick on what electives or core curriculum classes you would take. And it told me I should be an architect or a pharmacist. And I was like, pharmacist makes sense. And my parents both work in healthcare, so maybe that's where it came from. But the architect was new to me. I was like, I don't know where that came from, but I picked out different things. So the ingredients of an architect includes all these different skills here. And I'm going to go over these and kind of pull out what they were for me as a kid growing up, and some of those things that was present that I didn't know I possessed until I was older. Teamwork. Collaboration skills are very important. As an architect, you need to be able to work with other people. You work on large teams on lots of projects, from small to big. All through school, you work with teams and groups. A lot of my classes involve teamwork, doing productions of Macbeth and Star Wars theme when I was in high school, to all sorts of things. Communication is another skill you need. You need to be able to communicate and present the information you want. I wrote, I knew how to communicate. I did visual arts too, so I knew how to communicate those as well. And next was leadership. I never actually chose to be a leader when I was younger. I was always thrust into leadership positions. Here I am a club officer, president my senior year. Not something I really wanted to do, but everyone convinced me I would be really good at it and I should do it. Other things I did was I was copy editor of the newspaper, ambassador for the new students that came to school, and several other things. Let's see, skills is next. What sort of skills do you need to do to understand what is going on around you and to work with your clients, make sure you give them what they want? In school, I was a person that everyone borrowed their notes from. I took really great notes because I listened well. I was that person. So, passion. I show a clock here because architects work a lot of hours sometimes, and you have to be passionate about it or you won't survive. As a kid, I was passionate about a lot of things. All those things I thought I wanted to be, I invested in. I still love them today. It's just not what I thought I was going to do when I grew up. So, having passion, having drive is very important. Problem-solving skills. I played a ton of problem-solving skills. Tetris, Dr. Mario, Settlers of Catan, chess, like anything that makes you solve things, word searches, problem-solving skills, all those sort of things. That's what the architect's brain does. We have to solve skills every day. The next thing is technical abilities. I won drafting words by hand in CAD both in high school. Out of the only girl in my class of boys. And I was lucky to grow up with a computer in the house because my dad worked in IT, so we had a Commodore 64 when I was in the 80s. So definitely knew how to work with computers very well. Visualization skills is next. You need to be able to take all this information you've gotten and be able to present it and visualize that to everyone else. So it's very important. So some of the skills was some of the projects you did in school. We would read a book and we'd have to create these projects and we had to visualize to students and portray these books to students of what we read. And we put these all together and it creates a perfect storm. And it's not something I knew about until you look at it after the fact, that all these these skills I possessed as a child and growing up makes me a great architect. Just didn't know it. So the aptitude test was very correct in that fact, that I should have pursued architecture. When you want to be an architect, go to architecture school. I chose the 5-year program that was accredited, so I only had to do that. The other choice is to do a regular college and get a master's. That is an accredited school. So I did that, got studied abroad. That was an amazing experience, but they really train you to be a critical thinker and to sharpen those. And then after that, you have to get licensed. There are 6 exams that you need to take to get licensed, and you have to put in 3,740 hours in 6 different areas to be able to be licensed. So it's very tough. What's next for me is I decided to pursue architecture-focused programs last year, and it's given me great guidance on what I want to do next, because I really didn't know what I want to do. And for you, I want to leave you with the idea that you may not know what you want to do, but you may be a perfect storm to do something